Peep the concrete chronicles, my secret origins honest. Every hustle's first appearance, putting paper on the harness. Got a super villain plot twist for the crooked politicians. Me and my crew are heroes on a whole different mission. They see the flashy jewels, that's just a secret identity. My real superpower is surviving this vicinity. Doing the uptown lowdown, know what I mean?
Welcome to Secret Identities Podcast. We're your hosts, the tenacious T-Dubb, and I am your savvy savage, Jody. We're here to bring you news, reviews, discussion, maybe a few laughs about everything in the comics, TV, movie, and media landscape. How you doing today, T-Dubb?
I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling like a super villain, feeling like Thanos. I'm ready to bring it. I hope you're ready to discuss some crazy stuff that's going on in the comic. It's heating up because it's the middle of Comic-Con season. San Diego Comic-Con's upon us, a few days away. That's the biggest con of the summer. It's like 4 or 5 days long. All the big names, big stars, everybody's trying to top each other with the news, and we're bringing it to you today. We're bringing it to you. So a lot of stuff to talk about.
We were talking earlier, and you mentioned how you were kind of disappointed that DC isn't really going to have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con. Well, I was doing some reading on that, and apparently that's intentional because they feel that if they go to San Diego Comic-Con, they don't really get a good share of the news coverage. So they're holding back all their announcements for New York.
Well, I heard something more. I heard that, and I heard something else come through where they're planning, it's a huge anniversary, and they're building a set actually for DC Comics. So going to do a little bit more digging and find out exactly what that was. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Jim Lee posted that. So
it might be what they did, like they did back during the pandemic. They did something called Fandom.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was actually pretty good.
It was pretty interesting. Yeah, it was kind of like those Saturday morning cartoon preview shows they used to do back in the day to tell you everything that's going to be on that season for that channel. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Per Jim Lee's Instagram post a few hours ago, there is a video montage about looks like a set that they're developing to celebrate this year. Get ready to discover the 1950s with DC Comics, where imagination knew no limits. Talking about all the books that came out around that time, the Silver Age, the new legends that are forged. He says, counting down the days to debuting our all new, all different, newly expanded at Comic-Con booth for San Diego next week. The years since the 1950s and the Silver Age of DC Comics have gone on by in a flash. Our 100-year celebration in 2035 will be here before you know it. Who will be there in person cosplaying as their favorite DC Silver Age character on Thursday? Stay tuned. So it looks like they're going to be celebrating the 1950s of DC storytelling with this massive booth.
I mean, so if you're talking about 1950s DC, it's Superman, Wonder Woman, Jay Garrick Flash, Batman.
Yeah, that's who's in the video.
Okay.
Yeah. So something to look forward to. Let's see what comes out of it. I'm anxious to see that. So, yep. Like I said, not really a theme for this, but we're going into it knee deep, jorts deep, and we're going to get on with the news. First up, I got some news from DC EU or DCU or whatever you want to call it. Booster Gold has got an update. David Jenkins is now listed as the showrunner and EP on the series via the WGA directory. The credits suggest DC Studios has officially picked up Jenkins' pilot script for the series.
I'm interested to see that because
it's going to be.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because between James Gunn's sense of humor and Booster being a generally pretty funny character, after watching the 2 seasons of Peacemaker, I can see a Booster Gold being hysterical.
Yeah, and it's going to be a series, so uh, sounds like it's going to be pretty good. The television writer that we speak of, David Jenkins, he created the sitcoms Our Flag Means Death for HBO Max and People of Earth on TBS.
I think People of Earth was a comedy series, so that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I think I've seen a couple clips of it.
Yo,
Um,
Bruce, do you know where Oliver is?
so yeah, that looks like it's saying 2026, 2027.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they keep it
It's
up
TV.
and
It's TV, and
yeah.
then I'm not going to say that the budgets are low on Peacemaker, but most of the budget goes into the costume making. So, you crank out a Booster Gold costume. It's a pretty simplistic look. You don't have to go over the top with a whole bunch of special effects.
Um, Hasbro uh, unveiled their banner for San Diego Comic Con. I just sent it to you, and as a
Hmm.
representation of our past conversations, it shows two fearless leaders on that Hasbro represents. Optimus Prime
Well,
from
that's
Transformers
it. Well,
and Duke.
that's a DEI move, man. That's a
Right.
DEI move. That is,
that
uh, you know,
is Duke, not Flint from G.I. Joe
Yeah,
on that poster.
being in the Navy though, you don't really understand like how military works. Sometimes in military, you just get awards because you didn't already have one. It has nothing to do with what you deserve. And he ordered a lot of dinner, but he didn't see a lot of action. So they probably just put him up there to like that's an affirmative action thing.
You're just not gonna let this go. I've been
I
waiting
mean,
all day to send that to you. I said,
I
"Oh,
mean,
I'm gonna send this to him." Yeah,
it's they probably put Optimus Prime there. He's like, dude, be
or
cool. I know
or
you haven't done
Duke.
anything like this before. Optimus Prime was there to back him up because he knew he was a newbie, never did anything worth it.
Well, first of all, Flint is the equivalent to Ultra Magnus is the Optimus Prime. He
I,
just wasn't good enough to cut it. He couldn't even
I,
hold it down. He couldn't even open the Matrix in the movie. He was like, "Damn it, open! No, you
that
suck, Ultra Magnus."
that is an uneducated
Prime chose
opinion,
you on
but
his deathbed, and I'm just not worthy.
that's an
Sounds
uneducated
like
opinion. But that's your opinion, man. I can't
sounds
take
like
that away.
Flint to me.
I
Flint my
mean,
pockets.
yeah, if you say so. Um,
No, you can't.
you
You
know,
can't.
there might be a
Just like
reason why
superheroes. Sometimes you're just right. You know.
they could call him Duke because like the royalty thing, or it could because of the other thing. And I'm suspecting it's the other thing.
Oh, it's a family show. We don't need any further explanation. Savage Jody, we're good. We're good. Moving on to other news. We'll circle back around for Flint, pick him up off the ground when he slips and falls in the Duke. So we'll get back around to him. Uh, in some Batman news, and you and I were talking about this the other day on the phone. It's conflicting stories, man. I don't get it with DC and Warner Brothers. It says on my timeline, yeah, the Matt Reeves Batman, there's conflicting reports about who's playing who. They had Sebastian Stan, as you fans may remember him. He was Winter Soldier in the Avengers movies. He signed on uh, at first to play Two Face, from what I understand, but now said that they've had a change of heart, and I guess he's not playing him anymore. Supposed to be playing Victor Zaz, which the people that have reported this news have seen him or on set as a bald man, which fits the description of Victor Zaz, who's a criminal villain from Arkham Asylum video games, the Arkham universe video games, Batman. from Rocksteady Games. And then there were rumors that Scarlett Johansson, who was the aforementioned Black Widow from the Marvel movies, was supposed to be playing Two-Face's wife, or Sebastian Stan's wife. But now they're saying that she could be playing Poison Ivy. And the actor that was in Eternals, his name escapes me, but he played the rapper Paperboy on the Atlanta TV series from years ago. Is supposed to be playing Two Face now. And I've heard rumors of Two Face being two separate characters, which doesn't make too much sense.
Because
But
two separate characters are naturally going to have two faces. It's completely normal to have two faces with two characters. Yeah, I heard that Scarlett Johansson early on was supposed to be Phantasm, and Sebastian Stan is
which
Victor
sounds
Zsasz.
good.
Yeah, I think her as Phantasm is the only interesting thing I've heard about that movie. I think that Sebastian Stan as Victor Zsasz actually kind of makes sense because he's got RBF. He's constantly mean mugging, so it doesn't make sense for him to be a good character. I think that he doesn't have a lot of charisma. I don't think he has a lot of charisma as the Winter Soldier. So um, I have trouble seeing him carrying even the villain role. So we'll see.
Yeah. Again, this movie was not memorable or fun at all as a Batman movie. So it getting a sequel is beyond me. My in my terms of thinking. So moving on. All the news is coming out of Marvel camp, Marvel Disney with the Spider-Man movie hitting in uh, actually in about 2 weeks and 2.5 weeks from now. Uh, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Everything's spilling in the build up for the Avengers Doomsday movie. You and I have been talking over the past couple of weeks on the phone about our normal conversations about all these rumors and castings and characters going to be in the movie and not going to be in the Avengers Doomsday movie. I was just trying to get an idea and pick your brain, Jody, on how you would carry this movie, or what plot threads would you like to see, or you would use if you were directing this movie, Avengers Doomsday, with all the previous 20 some odd movies that we've had in these Marvel phases and everything we know up until this point, and going into the Avengers Doomsday movie. What can make this movie make sense? What can make this movie more pleasing to the fan base? What eye candy movements are you going to put in this movie? What would you not include in this movie that you think are totally wrong that they're building up to? But like you said, you don't know what to believe because there's so much speculation. And I think I used the example to the build up to Avengers Infinity War. There was a I mean, there wasn't that plot thread going into it where there was so much unknown because you have a well-known hero character playing a villain that shouldn't be or is unheard of in comics continuity. They're going totally left field in this. So we didn't have that. We knew pretty much with Thanos who he was, what he's capable of. We didn't see the whole snap thing coming, the misuse of the infinity gems or stones, or a different interpretation of that. So shed a little bit of light on what you think should or shouldn't happen.
Well, I think the one thing that should not happen is Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark being Doctor Doom. I think it's a huge mistake. I think the only thing that would satisfy me is if it turns out to be a fake out that he's using to demoralize the Avengers. It just doesn't make sense to me. You said how to tie up all the loose ends and things like that, and I would say at this point it would be impossible because Marvel is so used to changing streams at the last minute that I think they've royally screwed the pooch as far as the mess they've made in this movie universe now, because you got the You got the Kang plot thread just dangling out there because they just dropped that thread. That was held up by like 2 films, right? You've
Yeah.
got the plot thread at the end of Shang-Chi where there's a signal coming from another universe. You've got the weird plot thread at the end of the Doctor Strange movie where he meets like neon-colored Charlize Theron and gets a third eye on his forehead. You know, it's just like there's so many things that have not yet been explained that just make absolutely no sense. And then they're rushing into this multi crossover and then dragging in people from 9 other movies to try it to. So they're playing to their audience because they know you as a comic book fan or you as a lifelong fan of superhero movies are going to see Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier standing alongside the Avengers, and you're going to get a little bit of a tingle no matter what. But remember, they're always supposed to be making these movies accessible to everyone. Well, the amount of exposition is going to be necessary to make everyone understand what that's about, what those extra characters are about. It's going to be a long walk, especially when you're talking about as many characters as they're bringing in. You know, so what I would do is not make Doomsday and not make Secret Wars. I think that you had a long road to establish the Avengers, and you got an amazing product. And then you had a long road leading up to Infinity War. But you have not had a long, successful road since Infinity War Endgame. You've had a whole bunch of mediocre, half-appreciated projects, and you've done away with your core characters. They have not done the legwork yet. So going into this ensemble film, they're planning on propping it up with contrived reasons to bring back old characters, a whole bunch of multiversal cameo stuff from other films, and a very weak set of Avengers that nobody gives a crap about. You know, I mean, there haven't been many successful films in fan appreciation since the end of Phase 3, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard sell, especially. I believe the buildup is going to be pretty good. Once you get into the movie, I mean, you're talking about a long runtime, possibly 3 hours, with a rumored intermission that's hasn't been confirmed fully. We're supposed to find something out at San Diego Comic-Con next week. Should be a little bit more clear, the news that's coming out. A lot of things don't seem right with the setup for this movie, because you have all these other plot lines from these other universes, the Spider-Man universe, the coming X-Men universe. Not getting off subject totally, because it's actually in subject, because he's supposed to be a prime player in these 2 movies, are Doomsday and Secret Wars. Did you get the news of the casting of the possible new Magneto today?
no.
Oh, you didn't get it when I sent it to you? Oh, I sent it earlier.
Oh, you mean that list you sent me?
No, this came from, at first it came from just someone uh that didn't have too much credibility, but then it started hitting up on everybody's timeline, and a guy that we follow pretty much almost
What?
confirmed it.
He ain't.
Yeah,
He
I
ain't
said,
Magneto. No
I don't know.
way. That's
That's what I said.
that's
That's what I
nonsense.
said. Until it
Mr. Sinister, maybe. Sebastian Shaw, maybe. He is not playing Mr. Sinister. There is no. This is fan nonsense. No, there ain't no way. First off, the age is wrong. Like how young is Professor Xavier if Adam Driver is your Magneto?
Yeah, so that's what I don't know.
This is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. This is not true. Who is this person? Who is this person? The post says I can actually corroborate this. He's playing Magneto. The guy's name is Apocalyptic Horseman. Why would he know? Why? Like, what's your credentials?
Quinones, he popped up too, and he's talking about it. He said, "I don't want 100% confirm this, but his contacts, there's something to it. So it may be true. I just don't know how."
No, hang on a second. The original article says he's been cast as a villain. It's the guy who you shared the post for that says he's cast as Magneto. Cast as a villain, Sebastian Shaw makes perfect sense. Mr. Sinister makes perfect sense. Why not? They're going to mocap him. He's just going to be all metal anyways. But he's not Magneto. He's not Magneto. If he's Magneto, I'll eat this shirt after the movie. I'll right here on camera. I'll eat this whole shirt, like one swatch at a time. There is no way.
You just don't want to believe it. Oh man,
it's not that I don't want to believe it. It's like I don't believe that Marvel can be that stupid.
I hope not.
I mean, first off, his age is wrong. Second, they're doing again another established actor being a cast in a role that's going to make them cost more money later. Do casting calls. Hollywood's full of poor actors that are pretty good serving drinks at a bar or working in a damn grocery store because they can't get a job. Hire those guys, lowball them on their contract so you have them for 10 movies without it cost you money. Don't hire some guy you already had for 3 Star Wars films, Disney, so you know they're going to cost money. The way an actor's paycheck is determined is by the average box office of the movies that they're in and their contribution to that ensemble cast. So if you're putting a guy in that's been in 3 Star Wars films, you're costing yourself a ton of money. Stupid. You should not have shown me that, Telly. You have not. You should not have shown me that. That is, I believe that he's a villain. I will not believe that he is Magneto. I will not. Because, I mean, honestly, maybe I'm giving him too much credit. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit because that's just nonsense.
I just want to. I don't know. I don't know what to believe, man. It's just so much stuff out here. This it's crazy. I couldn't see it either. When I sent it to you, I said, I know what he's going to say when he sees this.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you hear me. I'm pretty negative right now as far as Marvel because I feel like they did a good thing. I mean, when you went into Captain America, it was a little bit of a dry film, but I don't know if you know this about me, Telly. Captain America was my favorite hero growing up. He was my absolute favorite when everybody thought he was lame and no one cared. He was my favorite character. I used to draw pictures of him in my notebook. So going in that movie, having a pretty dry movie, but like they honored that character with that movie. And Chris Evans is exactly what everything you wanted him to be. The Iron Man movie was better than you'd expect it to be. Iron Man was a C and D list character outside of his. He sold some comics, but he wasn't a big deal in my lifetime. You know, he's a good character, but he wasn't like his books weren't selling off the shelf like X-Men books were in the 90s. You know, like, oh, who reads Iron Man? You know. So to have a movie that puts him up into A tier status or S tier status or however you want to do it, that's a big feat. So they did the work. They did a lot of good stuff with those other movies. But it just seems like they're more intent on subverting expectations than making good choices anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you done messed up.
I struck a bell.
You had to bring the Duke to this conversation, didn't you?
The Duke, yeah, he's the Duke, all right. He's the Duke of, oh,
Maybe we get
yeah,
Adam Driver to play that role. You think he could? You think he order food in a whole bunch of languages?
he's not good enough.
He's not. He's not good enough
He
at order.
even,
You're right. He probably can't speak a bunch of languages.
no, he can't. He can't. He doesn't know the English judo that Duke knows.
Yeah,
I can't. I mean, my thing, you've already got. So yeah, I understand all this Fassbender. I mean, Fassbender's been the best Magneto. Ian McKellen served his purpose. He's going to go out this movie. I just every time I think about them recasting, I'm thinking about those.
I'm gonna disagree with you slightly. I feel like Ian McKellen in the original X-Men movies was wooden. He was real wooden. He didn't feel like who's this old guy playing Magneto? But and Fassbender had it. When you watch First Class, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's intense. This guy's a Magneto. But somehow I feel like Ian McKellen has kind of like grown into the role a little bit now. So like for now, when you watch him as Magneto, you're like, oh, he's feeling this. He really digs this role. Like he doesn't feel as like in the old movies when you saw him, it just like felt like he was stuffed into that helmet. He didn't know what to do, so he's just kind of acting to the walls. But like he feels different when you see him and stuff now. So I think he might even the gap
I don't know.
up.
I kind of looked at it different. He was almost like Grandpa Magneto. I mean, it was the way. I think it was the way he was written, the stuff that he said when he was inside the
Jail, the little
no
plastic jail.
No, when he was inside the Statue of Liberty and he took off Cyclops' visor. He said, "You better close your eyes." That thing, and what happens to a toad when this lion storm had when it's hit by lightning. The same thing that happens to everybody else. Who can forget these lines? Like, who's writing this? Like, stop saying stuff like that. And I mean,
David Goyer. No,
yeah,
I don't know who did write the first X-Men movie.
Bryan Singer was the director. I don't know.
Well, I said right. I said right.
Ian McKellen has a grandiose voice. Like he commands. The way he spoke as Magneto, he spoke as Gandalf.
I agree in the first movies. I don't feel like that's true anymore. I feel like he understands the part more now. He seems to be like totally on board with the part more now, where I don't really feel like he understood. I don't think he understood it originally.
He looked like he had an AARP Magneto.
You're right. Absolutely.
He looked comfortable as hell in it. He was like had the fold over vest pocket, and he was all, and then the helmet was like this. Yeah. And he said, "But Charles, you cannot pass. You shall not pass." Whatever.
Yeah, but I feel like he's so like it's almost when you see him now, he almost like 30 years on. He looks younger in the role than he did before.
But true. In X-Men 3, Last Stand, which Bryan Singer went off to do that Oscar nominated James Marsters movie, Superman movie. The Oscar nominated
the thing that he's the thing he's most well known for, obviously. Yeah. Bryan Singer went off to do those young men.
Yeah. And then But Ian McKellen had a line as Magneto in X Men 3 Last Stand when he killed Mystique, and she turned back into her regular form when she was hot. Rebecca Romaine Stamos, if you didn't know. And then he looked at it, he said, "You look so much better before as a mutant." And I'm like, whoa, he the way he said he delivered that line, it wasn't over the top, like Channing Tatum, like, "You better drive it like you stole it." He didn't say it like that. He said it, "You look so much better before." And it just like, damn, dude. Like he said that to
That
be
dude's
cold, but he said it like he nailed his lines. That dude, like Patrick Stewart. Every line
those
Patrick
are
Stewart said as Professor X,
those are
he was like,
real actors, dude. Those are real actors.
"Yeah,
That's not the jumped
I
up
fall in
crap
like."
that you're getting
So
in these other
did you
movies.
did you know that Patrick Stewart said that
Retiring. Yeah.
Doomsday is Professor X? It's his last acting gig. It's it. It's done.
Makes absolutely perfect sense to me. The dude is tired, man.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I know. Dude, he's done Broadway. He's done ridiculousness.
they're Shakespearean actors going way back. He's done Broadway. He's done years and years worth of Star Trek. Years and years worth of Star Trek. So he's just kind of. Thank you. I did mute, right?
Yeah,
I
you did.
tried. I went for the mute button.
Clean up on aisle 4. Paging Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have a phone call at the front desk.
But yeah, so like those are real actors. Those are and
yeah,
honestly, it's making these movies extraordinarily expensive to bring them back, which is stupid. That you can't say it's for cause because they have nothing to do with the story. They're a part of another movie. So all it is selling fan service to get the fanboys back. This is the wayward ex-boyfriend. This is Ike Turner telling Tina Turner, "Please come back to me, baby." Oh, I should do the voice. Hang on a second. Oh, it's this one. "Please come back to me, Tina. Please, I won't hit you no more." That's why they're bringing back those characters. It's for fan service because they've pissed everybody off so badly in the last two phases with all this nonsense. And they're I'm not trying to be politically charged. I think that we need more people of color and we need more female characters and we need strong ones that happen organically, not ones that are propped up and made by excuse because you want to cut off somebody's paycheck that's getting too expensive and you want to get my girlfriend to want to watch these movies more than I do.
Well, what do you say about all this casting and stuff and them having their reasons of what they're doing with these other characters? I mean, they're trying to bring back everybody in this movie. It's going to be more than Endgame. They're talking about bringing the Luke Cage and Iron Fist and all the characters from those Marvel miniseries from Netflix. All of those guys are supposed to be in that movie.
I think
all
they
the
should
X-Men.
be. I think they should
All
be
the X-Men.
because that's the lie that they told you when they started putting those shows on Netflix and on Disney Plus that they mattered. Except Kevin Feige came out later and he says, "Well, we miscalculated and we underperformed with delivering things that weren't important. We did too much." And he says our problem was quantity, not quality. I kind of think it's a combination of quantity that was not quality is the problem. You know, they made a whole bunch of things that made no sense, that had no stakes. They put important plot points to the universe behind a paywall that not everybody was going to pay for. And, so you got decisions that happened in 2 seasons of the Scarlet Witch show affecting who's Scarlet Witch going into a movie, and everybody's like, "Wait, what? Like last time we saw her, she was Vision's girlfriend, and now she's killing people? Like, I don't understand what's happening."
How's Donald Driver going to be Scarlet Witch's dad?
Who? Oh, you talking about
Not
Adam Driver? I was like Donald
Adam
Driver.
Driver, Donald Driver, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I was thinking Donald Glover for a second. I was like, yeah, that's real
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. Well, how
Um,
does that work?
well, I mean, that's in the MCU. That's not his dad. That's not their dad. In the MCU, they're not even mutants. They got their powers from the Hydra experimentation with the Tesseract, or I think it was the Tesseract. One of the stones, whatever stone they recovered in. No, it wasn't the Tesseract. It was the stone they recovered in the beginning of Age of Ultron.
Hmm.
So that's a whole other thing. Don't get me started. Like I understood the reason then they didn't have the rights to use mutants, but they could have just kind of been like, they didn't have to go and make their parents not Magneto. But
They're saying the new Blade is supposed to debut in Secret Wars, so it's going to be quite a while before we see him. I guess
I love Marshall Ali. I think that he's going to do good things, but it's a weird thing to say. He seems a little tall for Blade for me. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like Blade should be
you're
a little
too tall, man. No, yeah. That's,
I just so like I'm
they'll-
interested in him.
I'm sure they'll play around with the camera angles on that one. I'm sure if he's towering over people. I mean, Adam Driver's pretty tall, isn't he?
He is very tall. Yeah, he's very
He
tall.
would
He's
be
tall.
Tornado.
He's tall enough to be Sebastian Shaw. He's tall enough to be the Black King. He's not tall enough to be Magneto.
Oh, no, you mean the Black Knight?
No, Black King
Black King
from X-Men.
What?
Yeah, Black King.
Who's Black King?
It's for the Hellfire Club.
Oh,
That's Sebastian. That's Sebastian Shaw's real his supervillain moniker, I think. Sebastian Shaw. I mean, it's been a long time since I read Black.
it's been a long time since anybody's read X-Men.
Oh, that's not true. They got people reading that book all the time.
I don't know why.
Let me see. James is jumping up and down right now. Yeah, Shaw proclaims himself to be the Black King. Yeah, that's right. From the Hellfire Club. Yeah, James is out there trying to catch me slipping.
Oh, he'll catch you slipping. You know he will.
Yeah, so I would say he's the Black King. He's the Black King. So bring in him, fan cast Sydney Sweeney as Emma Frost, like everybody's trying to do anyways, and then do yourself a Hellfire Club movie. Get away from the mutants, the mutant registration, mutant hating stuff. Like we've seen enough movies with that. Give them something more to do. The mutant hate plot
I think
just
they're going
doesn't.
away from that.
I hope they do, because it just doesn't track for me, man. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense that the mutant hate would. I mean, it's like I sent you that video last week where it's like, oh look, they just saved them people from a bus. Oh look, they caught that plane from falling. Oh, these mutants are gross. It's like it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, when I was a kid, everybody made fun of me because. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you look like Leech or if you look like Nightcrawler, but the rest of when you're just a mutant that's passing, you'd be the coolest kid in school. You wouldn't get picked on the bus because, first off, they know you'd whoop their ASS. But on top of that, who hates the kid at school with superpowers?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think they're going to go in a different direction with the X-Men. Yeah.
So what else we got in the news?
A lot of crazy stuff. More is supposed to be revealed at San Diego Comic-Con next week. The trailer for Doomsday, which we've been talking about, is supposed to finally drop next week. during Comic-Con. So be on the lookout for that.
I'll put it in next week's
probably-
episode. I'll put it in next week's episode. You can watch it with us.
yeah,
But
yeah, watch it with us. Let us know what you think. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of this and what they're saying is going to happen. I've heard some stuff online about what's in the trailer. A lot of different characters. Uh, so I won't speak on any spoilers if any of it's true. I don't even want to speculate because I want people to see it as we'll see it, uh, and check it out. Um, they said Patrick Wilson is up for the role as Professor X.
yeah, we talked about that earlier. I think he's a bit young, but
Yeah,
he looked okay with his head shaved. I'm just not. I'm surprised to hear he's gonna shave his head. In my opinion, that guy's your Booster Gold. He would be a great Booster Gold.
yeah. I think that would be cool if we saw that.
Yeah, I mean, bring the money truck up to his house, I guess, to get him shave his head. But he's still a significant amount older than Magneto, so the Adam Driver thing just doesn't track, in my opinion. Let's see what's Patrick Wilson age. He's 53 years old. Adam
Who is?
Patrick Wilson.
Oh, wait a minute. Patrick Wilson is was in Aquaman.
Yep, sure was. He played Orm.
Yeah.
He's Adam Driver is literally 10 years younger than Patrick Wilson. So for them to be like friends like in their youth and then ideologically different doesn't hold the water very well.
Yeah, mm, he's a little stiff, but I guess that's what he's supposed to
I
do.
never looked at that part of him.
No, I mean he was pretty dry and he was in a Tyler Perry movie. Um yeah, I see the picture that they're putting. No, they got some other guy now, Bill Skarsgård. Who's he?
Well,
He
Bill Skarsgård is one of the Skarsgård brothers, which is the son of Stellan Skarsgård, who plays the professor in all the Thor movies, and the brother of the guy who plays It. They basically all look the same. Bill Skarsgård.
He looks like
And you're saying he is going to be Xavier?
that's what one of the rumors that popped up.
That's the It kid. He's got a weird face for Xavier. He's the guy who plays Pennywise the Clown from It.
No.
I know, right? He is not Professor Xavier. I'm sorry. No.
No. I don't know where these people come up with this stuff.
I'm surprised that ridiculous thing wasn't on that list you sent me earlier. Kelly sent me a list earlier. Somebody's quote unquote list of actors that have secretly been cast behind the scenes for the X-Men film. It was the most ridiculous list you've ever heard. Like no one would believe this list.
It was right off of Flint's desk.
It smelled like Duke to me.
I knew you were gonna say that. I set you up for that one. At least you didn't miss.
Remember, if you want to contact us, you can reach us by email. secretidentitiesmedia@gmail.com. Contact at secret-identities.com. Or on any of our socials, secret_identities_media on Instagram, sec_ident_media on X Twitter, secret_identities_pod on TikTok, or just search Secret Identities on Facebook. You can find links for these in the show notes wherever you found us, on the title card at the end of the show, or just scan the QR code on your screen for our link tree.
Okay, so Are we going to talk about the variant cover thing? You got that
Sure.
on your list?
I didn't have a list. Remember, this was free for all today.
Oh, I thought you had a list. Seemed like you're looking down. Well,
Oh, I do. I have stuff saved to my bookmarks, but yeah, let's talk about the variant cover thing. The
okay. Well,
DC.
I know
Are you
we've
going to
talked
quote
about.
the article,
I
or you
I
want me to
know
send it to
we've.
you?
Well, I think we can come off the cuff. Um,
Okay.
I know we talked about variant covers before, but this dovetails with my point of view on them, but it doesn't necessarily. We're not running over the same ground. DC Comics announced that they're changing their terms of service for uh, independently put commissioned variant covers. Like, for instance, there are occasions when comic shops can commission their own art and then have that art submitted to DC to have their own variant version printed. And the cover prices some of these stores were using were exorbitant, to say the least. Looking at in factors of 15 times cover price, 60, 65, $55 per issue when they were buying it at basic distributor cost with no. I think there's a minimum issue buy, but there's no additional cost for the issues when you do this. Well, DC Comics just announced a new terms of service that anyone commissioning a variant for their store has price controls on it now, where I heard the actual numbers are nothing more than 5 times cover price.
Mm.
So that's going to crimp their bottom line significantly when you consider they were selling them for $60. And they also have conditions in that no one can ghost buy books through somebody else. There is no proxy buying. So nobody can pull any scams where they're getting the deal what they want to get because they're going through somebody else. And then if they violate this rule, they are going to potentially be banned from never being able to do one again. I think it's a step in the right direction because, as I said, I feel like the variant cover market is kind of predatory and it's very unhealthy for comics industry because at the end of the day, there's no additional cost for making these items. So there shouldn't be I'm not going to get into the scarcity pricing and things like that, but there's a lot of factors that go into the value of a book, especially when it comes to variants. Scarcity has one of those things. Demand has another one of those things, and they choose the right artists. They do the commission, so they manufacture the scarcity and the demand themselves, and then they put on an extraordinarily high price tag. But it's unhealthy because all of those dollars spent on that one comic book are going to not be spent on other comic books. So I totally understand why DC is doing it. I think it's a step in the right direction, and I kind of hope this kind of gets people to pay attention to what's happening now instead of just going on. What do you think about it, Telly? I know we were kind of at odds on the variant cover thing. I think
Well,
there's also.
I mean,
I think they also. I'm sorry. One other thing in the article I read, I think they also mentioned that the books cannot be included in blind bags anymore. So, but go ahead.
Well, DC wasn't having they had some trial and error with the blind bags anyway. I think the only ones they did were the Batman #1s, and I think a big percentage of them were damaged anyway. So not sure if they had as much as success as Image and the Independents and Marvel had with the blind bags. Which I don't see a problem with the blind bags because you do get some rare 1 in 50, 1 in 100. You get some foil variants and some sign variants in there that you normally will pay upwards to $100 for in the regular market. So if you're paying $6 to $10 for those blind bags, then your chances are higher to get those books then more power to you. I mean, again, just like variant covers, it's down to choice. You know, which cover would you rather have? You know, you're always going to have those speculator collectors out there that are trying to buy them all up so they can say that they have one, or try to flip it on the market. And you know, you have your scalpers and stuff like that. Um, Putting a ban on the covers, I think it's going to kind of put a handle on things. But what I question is what I talked to you about earlier, is that you have a lot of these independent companies that commission artists to draw either store variants or independent retailer store variants, uh, like a Unknown Comics or a Dynamite Comics or whatever those brands are, when they do their own specialized variants to the books. Like in case Absolute Batman has all the variants that are approved by DC Comics, but then you have the ones that are done by independent artists, and they're doing them as commission through that retailer or that independent retailer. How are they paid? What percentage do they get? A lot of variables in that. But I mean, uh, I think from a company standpoint, is one of the big three. I think DC is taking a step forward in doing so, and we'll see. It's going to take time to get those numbers, and it's not just going to be 1 month. It's probably going to be over several months with it reporting, because, like you and I know, a lot of those covers are set 2 and 3 months ahead, so you won't even get those numbers for a few months from now.
I
So,
looked I
I
looked back at the
yeah.
article, and it was a price cap of 5 times cover price for unsigned books and 10 times price the cover price for signed versions.
Oh
So,
wow.
and that makes
Okay.
sense to me, because if the artist is signing it, then the artist should be getting a cut too. So this is about
Yeah.
taking care of the artist. I'm glad that they put that measure in there. But we crunched the numbers earlier, and figuring at uh, retailer cost for these books and a commission cost of $5,000 for the artist to do the cover with a 2,000 print run.
Mm.
Once the artist was paid off, the person who commissioned the cover would actually make $145,000 if they're selling it at the $50 and $60 rate that they're selling it at. That is
Oh
just too
wow.
much. That's too much. And so it makes absolutely perfect sense, because you can't say that's for the health of the artist. You can't say you're giving the artist a fair share. And even if you pay that artist 10,000 or 20,000, you're still making $120,000 on something that you only spent. Let's see. You know, I'm ballparking this because I don't know what their exact cost is, but having bought comics before, I'm probably not super far off. So we're looking at their cost for getting the books would cost less than they were paying the artist, even if they're only paying the artist $5,000. So for $10,000, you can over 10x your money by exploiting customers that want to buy it. And yeah, you're right. For the aspect of choice on the comic and having the artist that you want do the job, absolutely, that's great. If you're giving the fans a fair shake and you're giving artists fair shake, I'm all for them having that choice, and they can come to you for that choice. But price gouging is it's dirty business, and it's unhealthy for the industry. So
Yeah. That's
I'm
true.
glad they're doing it. I'm glad they're doing it. I mean, just those figures really make it set home where, wait, what, 100, like, even if you're paying the artist 5, 10, 20,000 for the cover, you're still only paying a quarter of what you're making if you're selling at those rates. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Uh, yeah, I mean, the market isn't getting any smaller in the demand for these variant covers. I know we look at it from the business standpoint and the cost and who's getting paid what, but as far as a collector, I've seen firsthand at the shows and at the store level the excitement it brings to those collectors and people coming in and choosing what they're looking for. I mean, there's so many. I couldn't believe there was when we went to Baltimore last year uh and exhibited with a friend of mine. We were sitting across from the booth. I believe it was Unknown Comics, and they're a major retailer out of the Midwest that specializes in all the variant covers. That was the site that I sent you today. They were instrumental in setting up an X-Men booth last year in Baltimore in September. And I sent you pictures of this booth. They had all the voice actors from X-Men 97 there
Well,
on the main
they
aisle.
should because if I
Yeah.
counted off the 5 or 10 comics that they had on their page, they're making $1 million that month.
Yeah. And then
But
the what if you would have seen the amount of variant covers that
right,
were available at their booth, it was an insane amount. I mean, they had poster prints. They had everything up in these lighted frames. All the X-Men covers that Kier Andrews, who's a huge popular Spider-Man artist because of his McFarlane and Eric Larson influence. I don't know if you ever seen any of his work,
I don't think so.
but
No.
this guy drew the crap out of some X-Men variant covers. And those he was at the show, and you could go buy the books from Unknown Comics and take them over to his booth and get them signed. And I mean, there were over 100 different covers there. A good 25-30% of them were drawn by him. Spider-Man covers, Wolverine covers, X-Men covers, and they all looked amazing because they were blown up, and you could pick and choose who you wanted. They were connecting covers, they were foil covers, they were signed
But
covers.
you can get
I
all
mean,
those things for $4.95 sometimes too, Telly.
oh well, yeah,
But my point
but I
is
think
as
when
a
you get
retailer,
to yeah,
right, you have probably experienced this moment. And any retailers that might be listening now or in the future, you've experienced this moment where one of your loyal customers comes up to you with a short stack of comic books and a really sad look on his face. He tells you, "This is going to have to be it for me. I just can't afford the hobby anymore." You've seen comic collectors die that way. I have personally been that person in the last 10 years just because my lifestyle was changing, my life was changing, and I couldn't afford to be putting out 100, 200 or more dollars a month on comic books. So you said, yeah, the desire for that is not changing in the industry, but what is changing is we're not adding new people into the industry. The industry is getting smaller and smaller, but you keep ratcheting up the prices for the things that exist in the industry. You're going to eventually break the back of the people in your industry, and everybody is eventually going to have that conversation. Everybody is eventually going to have that short stack of comic books and go to their retailer and say, "I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. I can't justify the cost. I can't justify it in this economy. I can't justify it at this cover price." How many times we heard $4.99? Like, if it goes up any higher, I got to stop buying it.
mm,
Well, eventually this is going to have a toll on the people that are buying, and eventually the people are going to step up with that stack of comics and they're going to be like, "I know I got what I got and I liked what I got, but it's just done a number on my finances. I can't do it anymore." So we as retailers, as comic people, as craftsmen of comics, we need to think ethically when we're making our comics and what we're selling our comics for and what we're allowing to be done with our comics. I think it would be hella unethical for DC to sit back and say, "Let them do what they want to do with it. It's their money. They can spend it how they want, and we're getting ours." So I think it's a great decision. There is no downside to this for the real retailers, not gougers, not criminals, not people that are trying to beat the pinata while it's still got money in it. And it's not bad for the fans because now you can get that Jim Lee variant, and those people that are retailing for and gouging are just going to have to think of their prices with a little bit more lean profit in it. If you cut what they were charging in half, and that's basically what you got to figure that 5 times cover price on a $4.95 book is still $50, and they had their books pegged at 65 or more. So at 100,000 copies, you cut $15 off each copy. They're not going poor.
No.
Ain't nobody going broke in that situation. We live in a terrible world where people can get rich by making other people poor. And this is a situation where we can't do it because it's going to break this industry. Print media is dying. And comics ain't no exception. The only thing that's propping comics up is the fact that suddenly some movie companies think it's valuable to still steal stuff from them. But now Marvel's plan to try to link the comics and the movies together, that's a whole nother problem right there. We talked about that, I think, in our first or second week. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's an important point to, like, as a retail, you know the moment, man. You worked at a comic shop. You had a guy come to you and be like, I just can't afford this hobby anymore.
Yeah.
And that conversation is going to happen more and more often if you're taking things that should cost $10 and charging $65 for them. It's unethical. And it's unethical because you're going to kill the golden goose that laid the golden egg. If you want to make $15 a book for the next 20 years, act ethically. If you just want to steal as much money as you can and run away as the comic industry is dying, then keep doing what you're doing. So I think Marvel will follow suit.
I don't think people want to draw Marvel variant covers anymore. It's bad enough that that's you're the cover artist. That's your job. And how is it it's hard enough that they got to draw regular covers for them crappy storylines. You know, how they gonna come up with a second crappy cover? How you do or a second cover to a crappy story? I mean,
well, honestly,
I'm not trying to rag on them like you rag on their movies, but I mean,
I don't rag on their movies. I expect better of them. I feel like I critique them adequately because of what they do with their movies. Yes,
I expect their covers, their comics should be better than what they are. I mean, they got some time to get X-Men right before they reinvigorate the X-Men or revise the X-Men the way they're doing. Because what's going on right now, if that X-Men movie to come out next month, and what always happens, these people come out of the theater, I want to go check out the comic because I enjoy what I saw in the movie. No, you don't. Because you're not going to recognize anybody that's on that X-Men roster when you go to the comic book store.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for Marvel and say, with the rate at which DC is doing variant covers for their books, odds have to be that one of those is a bad book. They're just doing it too often. And I think variant covers have a place in the industry, but it shouldn't be every issue. You shouldn't have like variant covers for every issue in a line. And again, I think it smacks of the same problem as what I was just saying, but to a lesser degree. So I'm not gonna pick it for that right now. But the price gouging is definitely unhealthy for the industry.
I see what you're getting at. I mean, I wish I had more time to open your eyes to see what other stuff is going for and why and how many books. Like you said, it shouldn't be for every book, but it almost seems like it is.
Oh no, it almost is. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
You can go down their website. I don't want to keep the name dropping them because I have two sides to or three sides to the way they're doing things, but they're just regular supporting characters that have their own comic, and they got 20 variant covers for
Well, I
that.
think you said in the first 25 issues of Absolute Batman, there were 75 different variant covers. I think that was the number you gave me a while back,
No,
right?
it's I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Not including the kind of store exclusive variants that we're talking about.
Hmm. Absolute Batman. It has been solicited up to issue 24, which issue 22 just came out last week. Total with the regular amount of variant covers that are released by DC, this includes every variant available.
Including the store exclusive variants?
The store exclusive,
Okay.
the retailer variants that we're talking about for 24 issues is 877
Jesus.
covers. So do the math. You got your calculator? Do 877 divided by 24.
$877 divided by 24. Wait,
Mhm.
what? What did I just do?
That crossland math.
36.54. What? So that mean per book?
Yeah, that
I'm
was
sure.
just
I'm sure
math.
that's not. It's probably. It's an average, right?
Yeah, that's an average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but now if we were allow the gougers to gouge, and we'll say we'll split that number in half, right? Because some of them are low tier,
Yeah.
more common variants. We'll split that number in half. We'll say it's 15. So 15 times 2,000 times 50. Or no, we'll do 65. I saw a lot of 65s on that website. $1,950,000 is what these gougers would have made just off of half of the Batman variant run.
Mhm. Some of them are rarer than others, and they
I
cost more
understand.
money.
We're
Yeah.
doing an average. We're doing an average. So like, there's gonna be some up, some down, but you're still looking at probably about $1.5 million of profit that they siphoned out of the comics industry for something that they paid cover price for. They paid less than cover price for. So KMA, I will never support that.
Yeah, it's a lot of books.
Yeah,
lot of books.
huge problem. And I think that I don't know. We got to get back to basics. We got to start telling good stories. We got to build good characters. We got to stop doing gimmicks and reboots to try to keep attention on our books, and just be consistent and good. Market properly. Don't gouge your customers. Make some books accessible to children, because that's how you're going to cultivate your audience. Like it's great that you got, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old men with a lot of money coming into the comic shop to buy comics, but you need to make these things more interesting for children. Because first off, it's reading, and reading is never bad. And two, you don't find a Batman fan when he's 30. You make a Batman fan when he's 4, and you sell him comics for the rest of his life. So I really think that they need to do more work in cultivating fanship. And you know, I feel like they did that a little bit with, say, CW Supergirl. You know, they had, I mean, it was adorable. They had little girls and little capes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But the comics industry is mostly inaccessible to children, and that's a problem. And I feel like DC is doing a whole lot better job with that than Marvel, because DC has a whole bunch of young adults and children stuff. Like Franco and Balthazar do books like I think it's called like uh, what is that book called? It's like Little Treehouse of something.
Yeah,
Treehouse of
yeah.
Justice. I think it's like Treehouse of Justice, where it's a very adorable artwork about the kids as Justice League as kids. They have a young adult series of novels that Jareth was reading while he was in school. That's Study Hall of Justice. It's Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman as if they went to high school together, and they're like solving crimes like Scooby Doo around the school. You know, they're just doing a lot to put these properties in the mind of younger kids. So those kids are probably going to grow up and be the fans of the movies. They're going to be the fans that are going to come in the comic shop to read the stories. But, you know, if all we do is keep selling to our base and keep trying to pull as much money out of our base as we possibly can, the base is going to die, or the base is going to run out of money.
Yeah. You got that right. Yeah. I mean, Marvel needs to just put more thought into the characters that they have, the palette that they have, and embellish on it to make better stories, uh, better long-lasting stories. And they need to do a service to their fans
Hmm.
out there, because no one these books aren't selling. They're starting to get into a rut again. And
Well, that's their whole Midnight line is supposed to fix that, right? Right? No, until they
yeah,
reboot with another thing. I feel like now DC is not exempt from this, but I feel like similar to in their movies, Marvel is playing too many multiversal games or time travel games because they want
yeah,
to have some version of the character for everybody, and they want them all to be main continuity. So, I mean, there's a Spider-Man 3099 now. Did you know this?
no,
Yeah, it's a thing.
no.
Yeah, it
Why?
is. I mean, but that like they got rid of the apparently they got rid of the Ultimate Universe, and now they brought it back again already.
Or
Uh,
something like that, I heard. I don't know where that's going. It's
you know, it's just
like
they
every
want to
day
have
you
their
wake up, there's something new that they're doing, or something they
cake and eat it
revised.
too. It's like, and the other thing that they do, you and I joke about it constantly, but Marvel's idea of a good idea is just taking one of their characters and mixing it with another of their characters. It's like, oh, this is
Yeah,
the new Ghost Rider Wolverine. This is the new Space Ghost Rider who's Punisher. This is like it's like their
yeah,
cons. It's like, what is this Mad Libs BS you're doing? Write good comics. Stop doing these gimmick books. You know, it's like I will start sharing. We're gonna have to start like a segment of this show where
yeah,
we point out the ridiculous things that they do. They literally they have a book that's currently running. I don't remember the name of it, but the plot of the book is that characters keep combining into other characters. It's like,
yeah,
and I was like, what? Like,
yeah. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
yeah, I just their idea of, oh, let's do something different that we've never done before. What if Wolverine and the Hulk were the same? Weapon H, you know, like,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, there's
and
some
and
bad ones.
and honestly, the idea of Weapon H could be kind of cool, but because it's done as this kind of like one-off, let's just combine another character all the time. It's like, well, we know you're just gonna flush the toilet and this is gonna be gone. So what's the point? Uh, But yeah, Helverine, the Ghost Rider Wolverine, the Space Punisher Ghost Rider. I'm trying to think of another one that comes to mind that I've seen recently.
There's some bad ones out there.
Well, honestly, they're all bad if you don't write them well, and I feel like they don't put any effort into writing them well. They just come up with some wacky idea because they want somebody to just pick up the book, and then, but there's no longevity. They keep recycling their line every year or so because they feel like first issues sell more, and they do, but eventually, people were going to stop falling for that trick. You know,
Yeah.
I would like to see an issue 13 of a comic book, not a whole bunch of 12 issue ongoing series. You make a limited series, make a limited series. But
Yeah.
but people, honestly, the industry, comics industry, found that people don't buy limited series. They don't buy it. They don't sell. So unless it's got some crossover logo.
Yeah, that's true. Shoot, the best amalgam that they ever did that they should have did more of that was actually interesting was the Dark Claw.
Yeah,
With
you'll
the
never see
Wolverine
those
Batman.
characters again. Yeah, you'll never. I mean,
Uh,
Jareth and I talk about those characters all the
What I'm
time.
now worried about is
But yeah, they'll never do that again. You'll never see DC. Things will be really bad in the comic industry before you see DC and Disney Marvel playing ball.
yeah. They,
Yeah,
what they had, it was Dark Claw. Who else was in that line?
well,
Did they do
you had
Flash with somebody?
yeah. If actually the Flash was a weird one because they combined Etrigan the Demon, Flash, and Ghost Rider into one character. His name was Speed
Yeah.
Demon. Let me see.
Yeah, that's true.
You had Frank Castle, Punisher, and Wonder Woman in one book called Bullets and Bracers. You had Spider Boy, which was Connor Kent and Spider Man mixed.
Then they did Spider Boy again. Currently.
Oh, Captain America and Superman were the Super Soldier together.
Yeah, I remember that one. I still think Dark Claw was the best one.
He's a cool looking character. I just don't completely understand how. I never
No,
read that one.
I don't think I read it.
Yeah, I never read it, so like I'm really not sure how. Let me see. X Patrol.
Well,
See, Dark Claw. Oh, Doctor Strange Fate was Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate together. Oh, Storm was Wonder Woman. I can't remember what the name of that book was though.
I remember that. I think I remember that one.
Iron Man was the Green Lantern.
Really?
Uh-huh. It's hideous too. Not a good design.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
Dark Claw, Super Soldier, Spider Boy, Iron Lantern, Amazon. That's Wonder Woman combined with Storm, Speed Demon, Doctor Strange Fate, and Thor Orion, which was Thor and Orion from the New Gods.
Yeah, I do remember
And
that.
Thanoside, Green Skull. Thanoside was Darkseid and Thanos mixed. Green Skull, which was Lex Luthor and Red Skull. Dr. Doomsday. Galactiac, which is Brainiac and Galactus. Like, what the hell? Hyena was the Joker mixed with Sabretooth.
Yeah, there's some bad ones.
JLX was the Justice League mixed with the X-Men. Challengers
I
of
remember that.
Fantastic. And then
Yeah.
Judgment League Avengers. I don't know. Like they're fun ideas, but the the cool design on Wolverine, but the mix of Wolverine and Bruce Wayne to me is like, what would that comic be like? Like, well,
Yeah.
and like it's just they're two like completely different characters. So I think if you read it, you'd feel like this doesn't feel right.
No. What year was that? 90,
Ooh,
96, 97.
well, it immediately followed the crossover. So what year was that? 1996.
Mm. Yep. I remember that.
I think that's the last time you had a Justice League, a Marvel DC official crossover, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Legends of the Dark Claw came out February 27, 1996. Mm. Jim Ballant drew it. I remember that. That's the guy that did the Catwoman, the first series.
And kind of ripped the idea off of Deathmate.
Yeah.
And Deathmate was poorly executed. It wasn't very well written, but it was a cool idea. And I tell you, the Image guys had that idea first, so I'll give them credit to that.
Yeah, I remember that.
As I was a fan of both Image and Valiant at the time, but it was pretty obvious to me that the guys at Image didn't know anything about the Valiant characters when they try to integrate them into their stories. It just didn't make sense what they try to do with them.
No.
So especially Deathmate Red was just like, do you even know what this character is? You're trying to steal it. Like, uh,
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. They didn't know anything about the Valiant stuff.
I tell you, there was some good stuff in the Valiant universe early on. Like, I would still stand by great books. I think the problem with Valiant is that Valiant was focused on telling good stories, and they were not focused on making dynamic images. They weren't looking for making something look really cool. They were looking. I don't know. It's like making comic books that could have been science fiction movies instead of making comic books look like comic books was their problem. And
Mm.
I think when Acclaim took over, Acclaim kind of did the opposite. They said, "Screw that. We won't tell a good story. We'll just make this look really cool." So, like the most memorable version of Shadow Man is the Acclaim version because it looked a lot cooler. You know,
Oh yeah, that's true.
Shadow dude with a mask and a jean jacket on wasn't that cool. Or Hardcore was a really cool concept. Honestly, I'm surprised that Marvel hasn't tried to steal that. Basically, in the Valiant universe, Harbingers are your mutants, people born different with superpowers. Well, the secretive government agency uh, realizes that they can put chips in people's brains and replicate those superpowers, but they can only do it one at a time. So there's this group of guys that are basically soldiers that go out to do things for the government, and they have these chips in their brain. They just have to they communicate back to what they call the operator by radio to switch what power they need to use when they want to use it. So they're basically calling back to a switchboard saying, "Hey, give me flight, okay, give me a shield, give me flames, all these other things." And then they have to like
Mhm.
coordinate with team dynamics to like survive the mission because one dude's using a shield, and the other guy's using flight, and the other guy's so and you can kind of see what if you look back at that Jim Lee cover on the first issue, you can kind of see that happening. So like if you had Jim Lee art on that book the entire time instead of and maybe some costumage for these characters. But if you look at the characters, it's just a bunch of white dudes in like overalls using
Mhm.
superpowers. So it's not very fun to look at.
Yeah.
But it turns out it was strongly hinted on that the government was getting these powers by using the team to hunt down harbingers, taking them back to the lab, and basically silencing them to steal their powers. So they were
Oh wow.
reverse engineering their powers by killing harbingers. So like it was really cool. And then like all the members that were selected for hardcore were selected because they had a traumatic brain injury, and
Hey.
they were brought into the hardcore team because only under the condition that they give up their entire old life. So you had these guys that basically gave up their old life that only weren't vegetables because they had this chip in their head. So the government kind of held them. They're basically extorting them to keep working for them. But then, like, as they continue to do missions, more dark stuff. It's a real fascinating book. If they had just put
Yeah.
more effort in making them look cool, I think that book
Yeah.
would have sold gangbusters, man.
Yeah, I have that first gatefold cover.
Of course you do. It's a
issue of
Jim
Jim
Lee
Lee that.
cover.
Yeah, I remember that.
But
Yeah, I
the
remember
art
that.
is very run of the mill, kind of reminiscent of Barry Windsor Smith through most of the run. So
Mhm.
not bad. That wasn't bad. But Barry Windsor Smith, great artist, but he's not drawing the most dynamic things most of the time. You know, like I think the most dynamic thing I saw him draw was the Weapon X storyline, and that's you know.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
he spent most of his
was
time at Valiant doing Archer and Armstrong, which was, again, a great book, but it's really hard to sell that book to people. These are like,
Mhm.
it's a fat dude with an alcohol problem and a kid with a ponytail that run around the country being chased by a cult of sectaries. You know, it's like, what?
wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
But it was Archer and Armstrong is the only book that ever has made me laugh out loud consistently. I was my favorite book when we were in high school together because it was so funny. It just, but it's hard to explain how funny it is. You know, it's just you have to be locked in with those characters. The
Yeah,
fat
I
guy
remember
was the fat guy is an immortal, and he realized he can't die, so he just kind of let himself go and turn into an alcoholic. So he gets to drink and eat all he wants, but he's never gonna die of heart failure or anything. So he's just this like 2,000-year-old slob, and he's running around with this kid who's basically raised in a Christian cult family, but he's a harbinger. He ran away from home because he found his parents were sacrificing children. So he's like hanging out with this old bum, he thinks, and the old bum keeps telling him stories about how he's 2,000 years old. He doesn't believe him. He's like, no, you're not.
that. That's funny. Yeah, I remember I heard stories about that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, wow, you took me back. I definitely remember those. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I remember those.
Well, you got anything else for the show tonight? Because we're at about an hour and 20 minutes before I drop stuff in. So
Yeah,
uh,
no, I'm good, man. I think we had a great discussion. I'm looking forward to these comic book movies, Spider-Man in a couple weeks. Definitely Doomsday. Hopefully we get some MapQuest directions with that movie. So we're in the theater like what
I,
you got page 3? You got page 3? I got page 4 over here.
I think there's
So
gonna
we
be
know
more
which
than
way to go.
I think there's gonna be more than a little bit of Duke in that movie. So
A lot of
yeah,
Flint too.
I
That's
can
yeah,
tell you that I'm probably gonna go to the Doomsday movie, and I am not gonna hate it. I'm
yeah.
not gonna hate it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be overall, you're going to be like, why did they do this? But I
Exactly.
think
That's
you're going to,
exactly my
I,
sentiment.
I, I think you're going to come out of it like, man, so and so had a great performance. So did you see that part when that happened? That was cool, but
Well,
the
the
other part was stupid.
the
So
Russo brothers, the guys that are responsible for the Marvel ever since Captain America: Winter Soldier, they're the guys that make that Community show I keep showing you clips of. Not
yeah,
originally. Originally, the show was created by the guy who created Rick and Morty, but I think after season 3, he left and they took over. So, like, I trust those guys to tell good stories. In fact, ever since they took over, characters from Community keep showing up in Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But my big problem is we're going into the big crossover because they think it's going to draw people back and make a bunch of money. But I don't feel like they've done the work for it. And I feel like they're compromising a lot of characters to sell that. And they're bringing in a lot of characters. So like what they're doing with Tony Stark's character, I think that there's, other than leaving that guy dead and giving him some peace, they're wrong. If you're not just giving that guy the peace to stay dead, then you're messed up. They're compromising the emotional core of what his whole arc through the MCU was, and he deserves that arc because he began it. So leave him alone. And then bringing in all this multiversal garbage, I feel like that's not helping these movies. It's giving us this momentary moment of satisfaction and go, oh, it was cool because we got to see them on the family together. But it's not servicing a story, not a good story. So it's a cheap tactic because you know you don't have a good story, which tells me I'm going to walk out going, there's a lot of things I messed up here. Was it enjoyable? Okay, because, you know, the kid in me is still going to react to that moment. Like I told you when I saw Superman Returns, James Marsden's better known film. I was really done for in that movie because of the Christopher Reeve connection, the connections to those movies for when I was. It wasn't until I stood back and gave it a critical appraisal and I was like, it's got some problems to it.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that
Definitely
like
so.
they're exploiting that fan goodwill and they're making some decisions in order to keep the ball moving that are compromising the good things that they've already done.
Yeah. Well, I want to see where all this stuff fits in, and I want to see some memorable stuff. I want to see some emotion. I want to see a giant cliffhanger to set up the movie after that.
You're
Secret
going to get
Wars a
it.
year later.
You're going to
Yeah.
get that.
So yeah. So
See, but
anxious
see
to
that
see
what
it.
doesn't make sense to me though. Now this doesn't make sense to me. Is that if it really is an ensemble cast, and it really is going to have everybody in it, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, all those other things. If you really got this gnarly cliffhanger in Doomsday that's going to lead you into Secret Wars, how are you going to have movies between Doomsday and Secret Wars?
I don't think there are any.
You listed 3 of them. Remember, Secret Wars is the reset button for the universe. You listed Doctor Strange 3, Shang-Chi 2, and Black Panther 3. So how are those 3 movies going to happen in the timeline? It's a lot.
Well, what I'm hearing is if those movies come out before Secret War, none of those people are in Doomsday.
You're talking about something monumental to the level of the snap happening in Doomsday, leading you into Secret Wars. So you can't tell me you're going to have 3 movies that have nothing to do with what happened in that movie. So they're either in it or they're directly responding to what happened to the world because of it. And if they don't,
I think that second part. I think those 3 movies are the vehicle that take you to Secret War. I don't think they necessarily, with the exception of Shang-Chi, I don't think those other movies are in it. Or they are in it. I don't
I
know.
understand. I understand that they're probably not in it, but I kind of feel like they cannot exist in a vacuum. And Marvel has had a reputation for just ignoring stuff. You know, in the Inhumans movie, not the Inhumans movie, Eternals movie, something significant happens, and they were like, "We're not talking about that huge ass head and arm that just came out of the planet." Until they brought it up, and Captain America Brave New World. So they didn't touch that at all until Brave New World. So huge mistake right there. It's just like everybody was like, wait a minute, like how are we having another movie? Nobody's talking about that big dude to try to climb out of the ocean, turn to rock. You know, that's the problem when you're doing these things, these grand scale, and you keep changing the timeline as you're going. You can't do that. And I feel like they've really compromised themselves a few times in this last, because they keep saying, oh, well, that didn't work. Here's another idea. That didn't work. Here's another idea. So they keep throwing the things out they thought were going to correct the issue, to the point where now they're going to re-release a movie you already saw with stuff in it that wasn't there before. But either way, we don't have to go into that. We've gone into all that before.
Oh, we got plenty of time coming where we're going to have to address this stuff, because when you see Spider-Man in 2 weeks, you're going to be like, okay.
Maybe I'll eat my hat, but I feel like Spider-Man's got too much stuff shoved into him. You know, between Tombstone, The Hand, Punisher, Scorpion, Jean Grey, Hulk, possibly the symbiote. Like,
and the other rumor I heard, who Nate may end up being.
Nate? Who? Who's Nate? Who's Nate?
His friend.
Oh, well, you're talking Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds, this has been a speculation for a long time, because Ned Leeds in the comic book is the Hobgoblin. He's one of the Hobgoblins.
Yeah.
So
that's what they're saying, that's going to be happening.
I don't think so. I think that's fan hooey. There's no, like, first off, I mean, look, I'm not going to body shame anybody, but could you see that big Samoan looking at him after, like, stretched up as a Hobgoblin?
Oh, he lost a lot of weight, dude.
I've seen him. He's still a big Samoan, man. That's the Slob Goblin right there.
We'll see. But I mean, we've seen stuff happen.
Not to mention the fact you got this through line for the Ned and MJ characters in those movies, where, you know, there's the emotional core of the movie that he's obviously, you can see it in the trailer, he's pining about these kids because they're being together, having fun, like he wanted to have with them before he had to erase their memory. Right? So, like, I can't see adding the B plot of Ned ends up being the Hobgoblin on top of that. Like, too much stuff in this movie. Stop telling me more stuff that's supposed to be in this movie. You're driving me crazy.
Oh, and then they're going to be monsters.
and then Peter's going to have to give him a tour of the base and show him the big gun.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, brother.
That's it. That's it for me.
Well, we haven't really kicked it to our Patreon, so just for those of you that are interested, you can go on to Patreon to find our episodes, our pre-show episodes, and our movie reviews.
You can always check us out on Patreon, where we post each episode and updates, so you always know what is going on with the show. If you like the show and you want to help us keep the lights on while you are there, you can become patron. For as low as $2 a month, you can become a league member, and that will give you access to exclusive pre-show and post-show content each week, as well as the retro movie reviews. Or for just a little bit more, at $5 a month, you can become a Power League member, getting pre-show, post-show, retro reviews, a discount code for our merch store, and a producer credit in each and every episode. That's patreon.com/secret identities. Put it in your search bar, look for it in the show notes, or find it with the rest of our links with our Linktree QR code.
Special thanks to our Patreon Power League member, Hazy Eyed Girl, for the 6th week in a row, I think. It's 6 weeks. So we're solid in 2 months.
Yeah.
She mostly criticizes us, but we're still happy to have you because we need to be
Yeah.
criticized.
Still, we appreciate the criticism. And for you guys
Wait,
out there, please like and comment, subscribe, tell everybody about us. We appreciate it. We'll answer to the comments. What do you like about the Marvel movies leading up to Doomsday? What do you think is going to happen in Doomsday? And your 2 cents about the variant covers. Are they oversaturating the market? Are you on the side with DC and their ban or with the variants? And we'll love to discuss it with you. Coming up on future episodes, we got uh, San Diego Comic-Con build up next week, convention survival tips, some of our stories from some conventions that we've been to as fans, we've exhibited as, and be talking about that. And then we got some retro reviews for the Spider-Man movies leading up to Brand New Day. So can't wait to hear your feedback about those movies and get to talking about those because there were some great ones and some great moments in those movies. So
absolutely.
cartoon as well. So we'll be checking in on you on that. But
All
until
right.
then, keep it savage, keep it spinning on T-Dubb. We'll catch you next time.
Be a Flint, not a Duke.
Thanks again for joining us. If you like what you saw, give us a like. If you didn't, let us know how we can do better. If you know someone else who might like us, please share. Help us boost the signal. For audio only, they can find us on Spotify by searching for Secret Identities Podcast. Or for full video, tell them they can find us on YouTube at Secret Identities Pod. And of course, every episode is free to listen on Patreon at www.patreon.com/secretidentities. We also share clips of the show occasionally on Instagram at secret_identities_media or on TikTok at secret_identities_pod. Be sure to check out those socials. Drop us a like, give us a follow, turn on notifications. That way you will always be updated so you never miss an episode. Can look out for our streaming schedule or just see some of the news and funnies that we share throughout the week. And don't forget to please follow us or subscribe wherever you are listening from.